Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that.
You all don't remember the Georgia Southern game, do you?
You know, I hope there's Bigfoot. I don't think there is.
Like rat poison.
I hope there's Bigfoot.
All right, so
It's Division I football! It ain't intramurals!
I hope there's Bigfoot, but there is the Big 12, and that's what we're talking about today, the second half of the Big 12. We're back, the Hoppy Huddle. I'm Jake. That's Ed. This is, we're doing college football previews. It's preview season. We are
fans.
A
mistake-free show today, right?
What?
It's going to be a mistake-free show today.
Allegedly, we may have mixed up some schedules in the previous episode. Cannot confirm or deny, but we got it this time. It was a
Friday night show. What do you expect?
I was drinking too much White Monster. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Today, we've got the Big 12. We've got some big teams. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And then next up, we got the SEC. And then, man, can you believe that we have college football this weekend? Yeah. So tune in on what are we doing, Thursday?
We're going to do it tomorrow night. Tuesday and Thursday, we've got SEC. Tomorrow night and Thursday night, we have SEC preview show.
On Thursday, we'll do a quick little hit for week 0 games, which will be our first preview of the year. Can't wait to dive into that. Are you ready for game day in Dublin? It's almost here. Yeah.
Yeah. Fall wedding. So it's not technically a fall wedding. It's a summer wedding.
Yeah. It's fine. It's only week 0. It's fine.
All
right.
I'm half tempted to record the game, but I won't get home. I won't be able to get back from this wedding until late in the evening. It's one of those afternoon, evening, weddings. So I figure if I record it, somebody at the wedding is going to tell me somebody's going to have it on. And so then, I don't know. I don't know what to do. So.
Yeah. As much fun as Farmageddon is, might have to miss that one.
I might.
I will be dialed in. I will.
I know. I'll be getting. See, the problem is you'll be the one to spoil it. I'll be getting things from you. You and your degenerate gambler brother, who's going to probably have some
right. I'll definitely have some money on Iowa State.
Yeah. Oh, I've already placed my bet. So I've actually got a 4-leg parlay for Saturday's games. 4 different games.
I'm in Texas, so I can't parlay. We don't have parlays.
Oh yeah,
here.
no, I got a nice parlay going. We'll share that on Thursday night
officially. All right, we're gonna dive into the Big 12 Part 2. Today we've got some great teams like Arizona State and Texas Tech. We've got some other teams that are also in the Big 12 that we'll talk about. Yeah, you ready to dive right in?
Yeah, let's get into Arizona State, the defending champion.
First up. You're right. The defending champions, Arizona State Sun Devils. Thoughts, Ed? I'll let you start off.
Yeah, it's hard not to like this team. They're bringing pretty much everybody back. With an offense, obviously the big piece they're missing is Scatterbo. He did it all for them: rushing, receiving. We go back to the Texas game. Obviously, they were missing Jordan Tyson at wide receiver. Jordan Tyson really surged in the second half of last year, so they get him back. They didn't have him in the playoff game. Sam Levitt's a dual threat running back. Obviously, was great with his arm last year. Having him back with Jordan Tyson, I think is going to be a wonderful.
Levitt's a legit NFL guy. He's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft.
I think so too.
In 2 years,
he's going to be.
He's a legit NFL guy. You're going to be looking back on him and be like, man, he's going to have a starting NFL. I'm a believer in Sam Levitt. I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah, I think they got 4 starters back in the offensive line. I mean, this is a very returning production's off the charts for this offense. Defense, same thing. A lot of returning production. I don't think the defense. I think the defense was good last year. I think their passing defense was a little suspect, but overall, I think they're returning just about everybody. It's kind of weird to see a veteran team, come back together so much. Really didn't have much action in the portal. This is rare that a team stays together like this. Yeah. This has to be, I think, out of all the teams we joke about, 7 or 8 teams that could win the Big 12, to me, this is the team that's one of my favorites to make it to the championship game, just because they've got everybody back.
Yeah, and I have them up on that level too. Let's pull up their schedule here. So you got the little text up here so we get the right schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Arizona State schedule. Out of conference is not too bad. Northern Arizona at Mississippi State, Texas State. They should be favored in all three of those. Then they come to McLean Stadium at Baylor. And I think that right there will be one of the games that determines who gets in the Big 12 title game, along with their game versus Texas Tech and Iowa State. But really after Baylor, the schedule's pretty manageable.
There's a 4-week stretch there, and
their toughest game, yeah.
And then the back end isn't terrible.
It's really not. And you got Texas Tech and Iowa State are going to be tough games, but the last 3 games they should be able to finish out pretty easily. And with not a bad out of conference, Arizona State definitely should contend for the Big 12 title. I have them at 10 or 11 wins. Depending on, I guess you could pick one of the Texas Tech or Iowa State or Baylor. I think, whether you think they're going to lose 1 or 2 of those games. So I have them losing 2 just because somebody had to, based on how the math worked. And so I have them just missing the Big 12 title. But again, I could see them also going, 11-1 and making the Big 12 title game as well.
I have them going 11-1. Their only loss being at Baylor. I think the schedule breaks pretty favorably with the tough teams. Texas Tech is coming to them. TCU's coming to them. I don't think Iowa State, while I think going to Iowa State's not easy, I think they're more talented.
At Utah could be a trap game. Rice-Eccles Stadium is really tough to play at.
It is a tough. I don't think we've seen a time on that game. You and I just differ on how I think you think Utah is better than this year. I mean, listen, most of my Big 12 picks, all my Big 12 record predictions are all contingent on Utah. If Utah is better than I think, then all my records are going to be wrong. If Utah is good, yours are probably going to be right.
That's true, but I don't need Utah to be a world beater to be able to pull an upset over Arizona State there. They have they have maybe the best home field advantage in the Big 12. It's tough to go there and play, really.
Yeah.
So the thing with Arizona and the reason why Arizona State, where I'm not maybe quite as high as you are on them, is you talk about all the offensive production they bring back. Well, they don't bring back is Cam Skattebo. Their absolute unit of a player who just cinder block for a head, just bulldoze through people, a complete beast. And they brought in Kanye Udo from Army. They brought in some guys to replace him, and they got you do more running back by committee, but and I don't think they fall off at all. I just think that they fall off from the best in the league to maybe second or third in the league with the loss. Like that, he's not a player that you just can replace that easily.
No, I would agree. That is the only caveat to this team. I completely agree with you.
There were a couple of games last year where he just willed them to victory.
Absolutely. And you saw in that Texas semifinal, that playoff game, not semifinal, quarterfinal game, Skattebo was everything to that team.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to replace that. It's hard to replace that emotionally, and what he brings on the field.
Yeah.
So we could see a little bit of letdown. I may be overstating them a little bit. I think time will tell. There's still a lot of talent there.
Yeah, and again, if Sam Levitt, takes another step in his game, like he could set the world on fire too.
Yeah,
like that's not out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, let's go with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Little college football news update for all you Texas Tech, you Red Raiders fans. Quentin Joyner, their very expensive transfer portal running back, he is out with an injury. And did we know exactly how long he's going to be out?
I think he is. I think it's season ending. Sending what I saw.
He tore his ACL. He's done for the season.
He's done. I think.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate for them because they spent big to bring him in. They were counting on him. Big production from him in the backfield, and if you're a Red Raider, that's pretty disappointing, for sure.
So,
especially with the loss of Taj Brooks, he was supposed to replace that.
So this is an interesting team. This feels we don't have a lot in the way to look at this. They spent a lot of money in the portal. They got big money booster, Cody Campbell spending a lot. I think our only previous sort of we can look at Colorado and Florida State as being the only ones that can kind of look at this in the past as examples of teams that have gone deep in the portal, maybe Ole Miss, and spent a lot of money. But I don't know that we've even seen Ole Miss was more targeted and spent it on a couple players with a lot of money. I think Colorado was maybe our best example of just buying everybody. I don't know. This is a wild card. I don't know what to expect of this team.
I don't either. Which
could be 11-1, could be 8-4, and 7-5.
I still am not entirely sold as Joey McGuire as like a head football coach. Like,
yeah,
he's been great at talent acquisition and like running a program and fundraising and everything that comes involved with being the CEO of a football program, except actually coaching ball. So and again, he brought in a lot of players. Some of them were, highly touted and washed out. Some of them are guys moving up, and especially on defense, they're supposed to, they brought in a lot of different guys on the defensive line in the secondary. So we don't know what they're going to be. They have this giant range. The delta of possibilities is huge. And because of that, I just don't feel confident with a lot of people who are picking them to win the Big 12. I have Texas Tech. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Jake. Sorry to interrupt you.
I have Texas Tech at like 9-3. It's also like I don't quite know who to pick the losses to. My guesses are Arizona State and Kansas State, and I had maybe like Utah or Kansas, maybe. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I mean, I have a couple of problems. One, I mean, I know they brought in all these people. We just don't know how they're going to mesh. If they mesh well, they could be better. But this defense was just awful last year. Just look at the rankings.
It was really bad. Yeah.
On, just points per play, I mean, every category you can imagine, completion percentage, explosive pass, explosive rush. They were down near the bottom, not just of the Power Four of the entire Division I. So, yeah, you brought in a lot of talent, but you needed talent. Now, are we going to bring it together? And then on the other side of the ball, we talked about this conference the other night, how there's a lot of great quarterbacks in this conference. We didn't mention Baron Morton.
He's experienced.
Well, okay, so am I. But I'm 50. Nobody's asking me to chuck the ball around 45 times a day. I mean,
I'm not exactly unbiased, and I think being a Baylor fan, I think Baron Morton is not very good. But you can't kind of really take my word for it on it. So
yeah, so I just don't know if Baron Morton is. I mean, if you loaded up on this much talent, I'm just surprised they didn't go spend the money on a better quarterback in the portal to load up with this talent. So I'm just don't know if Baron Morton's the one that's going to get you victories over Utah, Arizona State, Kansas.
Was there really a better quarterback in the portal that was in their price range?
I don't think they had a price range. I think they could have afforded any portal. Honestly, why didn't they go out and get Jake Retzlaff from BYU?
Oh, okay. Baron Morton's better than Jake Retzlaff. Let's be serious now.
I don't know.
Come on.
Okay, we can have.
He
that
just doesn't stay healthy.
Well, that's the other thing. Then go get Retzlaff as a backup. I mean,
yeah, he would make a good sense as a backup. Yeah.
Well, they got a lot riding on this, and so for that reason, I just don't love them. Now, I could be wrong. This defense will gel. All this talent will come together. Texas Tech could go 10-2, and a lot of people love all this talent and everything. I just don't see it. I see them being a 8-4, 9-3, 7-5, kind of somewhere. I think there's a high floor on them because there is a lot of talent. I don't think the ceiling's that great. And I get back to your Joey McGuire. Is he that great of a coach? Now, at what point, how many does Joey have to win to keep his job? I mean, with all this talent.
I think probably 8 games.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, okay. I think 7-5 is a huge disappointment. I just don't know if they're really firing Joey McGuire at this point because of all the talent they have committed. If they can keep those guys committed, I don't see him going anywhere, especially if he's got the back. Basically, just Cody Campbell still won him there.
Well, that's true.
And I think
that's where it comes down.
if he does, he's staying. So
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
Texas Tech could gel and it could all hit, but it's really we don't know.
Yeah.
And I can't just say for certain that I'm believing in it quite yet. Although I do think they might be better than last year, which especially on defense.
Well, yeah, they flip a couple wins. All of a sudden, they are 10-2 and 9-3.
Yeah.
I still think, and that puts them close to competing for right there at the top.
But I think there's a clear grouping of 3 teams, and that's Arizona State, Kansas State, and Baylor. And then there's kind of a mini drop off. Not that there's really huge tiers in the Big 12, but like I think those 3 teams are your A+ contenders, and then you get to sort of a couple A- contenders after that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it's close there. I think Texas Tech is probably really close to that tier. There's a lot more question marks for me.
Where's the flash? Where's the X factor on this offense? Because offense, it's not just offense wins championships these days, and
Arizona State and Baylor are going to score points,
right, against any defense. That's they're going to have
that defense is not going to stop them. Yes, I think so. So
yeah, but we'll see. They don't play Baylor, by the way, which is a travesty. By the way, sidebar. What the heck, Big 12? That's a rivalry that's gone back 100 years. Why are we not playing? What is going on here?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That's a scam.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm rant, but like we should be playing Texas Tech. Not that I didn't want to make my schedule any harder, but like we should.
No,
anyway,
you don't.
All right. Moving on. We have got the TCU Horned Frogs. What are your thoughts on TCU?
Well, I like Josh Hoover. I think
Yeah.
I think they've got some pretty good talent at wide receiver. I think they clearly caught. I thought the first part of last year was rough for them. They turned it around, had a good second half. Caught fire at the end of the season. That loss to Baylor was sort of the game that sort of turned it around for them. They do have some good return. I mean, passing is not going to be a problem for them. My question is, can they run the ball effectively at all? If they need to find some balance in that offense, if they're really going to compete for the Big 12. I mean, they were just atrocious last year running the ball. And you're just not going to be able to compete with those other top tier teams if you can't find if you can't convince defenses you can run the ball at all.
Yeah.
But receivers, I mean, they probably have the best receiving core. I know you'll be biased and tell me Baylor does, but I mean, TCU has probably the best receiving talent, I'll say, in the Big 12.
They have good receivers. I'm
do.
not going to deny that.
And they've probably done, if you look at recruiting rankings, and I'm not going to say that always matters, they've done the best job the last few years as far as recruiting talent in the Big 12, at least the last 3 or 4 years. So I think they parlayed that in getting players on the field. I like Sonny Dykes as a coach. I think this is a sneaky team that could pop up in that upper tier if things go their way. Now, I think their schedule is a little challenging. I don't think they got any favors with the schedule. I think
so too.
I think they play all the tough teams, and then they're out of conference schedule. That's a tricky game at North Carolina.
Bill Belichick with the offseason to prep against a young quarterback. Like, I'm concerned. And SMU will be good. Like
SMU is going to be decent. That's a rivalry game for them. So, you don't get any love. So even if you do have a good season, you may end up losing one of those games, and you may be on the outside of the playoff looking in. But then they get Kansas State, they get Arizona State, they get Baylor, they get Iowa State.
I don't like the home road splits either. You get at Arizona State, at Kansas State, at BYU, at West Virginia. Those are all the toughest places, some of the toughest places and best teams in the Big 12. Like that is a brutal schedule. And so
it's not a good schedule for them. I think this is a good team, but I just don't like the schedule. So it would not shock me at all if, last year, they go 9-4. That includes the bowl game.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at something, a repeat of that, just probably for the schedule. If they had somebody else's schedule, you might see a little better record. I could see them competing. I just don't know that they can get there.
Yeah, I have them at probably 9-3 is my guess. 9-3, 8-4. So I guess probably hinging on some of the out of conference games. For me, also, like, they are kind of unproven on the defensive line. So that if they can't get a pass rush against some of these good quarterbacks in the Big 12, that could be a problem for them.
Yeah, but they do have one of the best secondaries in the Big 12.
They do have a really, again, their secondary is really good, but
Bud Clark's should be an All-American back there in the secondary. So you're right, but the line is the weakness here. I think rushing defense in particularly is a problem for them. But certainly passing wise, and in the Big 12, you do need a good passing defense.
And there's obviously no teams in the Big 12 that love to run the football, like, I don't know, Kansas State or Arizona State or Baylor.
Yeah. So I mean, there's your issue, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Again, they have that high ceiling, but it's a tough schedule, and can Josh Hoover take that next step forward?
Listen, I mean, last year we sat here and we gave Arizona State no chance to win the Big 12. It would not shock me if TCU's playing for the title game. It wouldn't.
No.
I mean, they have to get through a gauntlet of a schedule, but there's enough talent on this roster. I can see them making a run. They're not my pick to be in the championship game for the Big 12, but it would not shock me a bit.
Me too. All right.
All right. So let's go
next up. Let's go to Kansas, the Sunflower State. The Kansas Jayhawks had a very interesting season last year. They struggled with some injuries. They were up and down. Jalen Daniels is a good quarterback when he's healthy, but he kind of seems to have his growth has kind of seemed to flatline a little bit last year. He didn't quite take the passing leap that a lot of people expected him to. Mm-hmm. We love Lance Leipold. Again, he's making bowl games at some years at Kansas, which is huge. I just don't know. Like, I think their defense loses a lot, and they're gonna be vulnerable. I think a lot of other teams have improved a lot more than Kansas has in the offseason. They do have. That rivalry with Missouri is really interesting, and that's one of the underrated rivalries in college football. Kansas, Missouri, the border war, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'll be dialed into that game. I'm gonna be rooting for Kansas. I don't think they'll win, but it's rivalry. Crazy stuff has happened in that game. Then they start with a nice kind of warm up of some of the lower tier teams in the Big 12 that we think, right, that Kansas has, is probably better to play against. And then they got Texas Tech and Kansas State. They got, it's not a horrible schedule, but I kind of have them at 6-6, making a bowl game. And this kind of assumes Jalen Daniels stays healthy, which is a big assumption because he hasn't really done that. And if he doesn't, I could definitely see them kind of dropping off as they hit the tougher part of their schedule.
Yeah. To me, it hinges on Jalen Daniels. This defense wasn't very good last year, and then they were gutted with whether graduations or portal.
Maybe they get better. Maybe they don't.
Yeah, but it's a complete overhaul. DJ Warner, the highest recruit ever in Kansas, left. I mean, there's a complete rebuild. I think they got one starter. What is it? Is it Dean Miller, the one returning guy coming back?
Yep.
This is a mess. So I think even if Jalen Daniels is good, you're going to see a lot of teams. There's going to be a lot of high scoring games, Kansas. So it's going to be hard. I think you're right. 6-6. You're kind of looking at a bowl game. They should get out of the gates with a couple easy victories. Missouri is going to be a tough game. They do draw at least West Virginia, Cincinnati, UCF. So there's some possibility for wins. Yeah. Arizona, Oklahoma State. So they avoid Baylor. They avoid Arizona State. So, there's a path to 6-6 for them. That's if Jalen stays healthy. I just don't see them competing for the conference title, though.
No, I don't think so. And I really like Lance Leipold. In a one game scenario, like, like give me Lance Leipold in a 1-game scenario, right? He can scheme and he can coach up with the best of them, but I just don't know if they have the dudes for a whole season of that. Like
Well,
any
they
one
don't.
game on the schedule, I could see them pulling an upset, but I just don't
Yeah.
know like the whole season if they've
Yeah.
got that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. All right.
Do you believe?
I do not believe. I do not believe. The Colorado, since you're the believer, why don't you start with Colorado?
Well, I do believe a little bit because I think the recruiting has gotten better. The transfer portal has he's improved in the portal. I like the addition of Caden Salter. I think that was a nice ability to bring in. I think Julian Lewis is there. If Caden Salter falters, I think that's how I say. I think Julian Lewis was almost a 5-star. Was he a 5-star or a 4-star?
He was before he reclassed. He was a 5-star, but then he reclassed and became a 4-star.
He reclassed. So I think, I think they've got at least an option there if they don't like Caden. But Caden proved himself pretty adequately at Liberty. So I think you have an experienced guy coming in. So I can make an argument here that, they've got talent. Jordan Seed in the 5-star on the offensive line, had 0 sacks given up. I mean, there's pieces there. Now, are they going to be compete for this title like they did last year? No, but I do think they're going to be a tough out for some of these programs, and it wouldn't shock me if they all of a sudden bit somebody. Like Arizona State comes to town late November. Can you imagine a cold, snowy Boulder and Arizona State, a warm weather team coming in? This team. You're shaking your head. I mean, it could happen. All right, you don't believe me. Go ahead, tell me.
All right, it couldn't happen, and here's why. They no longer have the best player in college football. That's huge. He was the best corner and one of the best wide receivers in all of college football. They lose him on both sides of the ball. They also lose their 2 other good wide receivers. So who's Shador throwing the ball? Or not Shador. Who's Caden Salter? Sorry, I'm still thinking he's gone too. Who's Caden Salter throwing the ball to? Like, I couldn't name a single wide receiver on their team. Like, who's on the O-line besides their star tackle? Right? Who's running the ball? Like, there's a lot of like 3-star transfers and washouts on this team. And I just don't look. Long term, my opinion on Coach Prime has changed. Okay. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I think he's great for college football. Long term, I think he can actually get Colorado going as a program. This year, I don't think so. First of all, Georgia Tech, that's tough to open up. I think they lose that. Georgia Tech's a really good team this year. As you guys know, if you watch my ACC preview, I'm really high on Georgia Tech. At Houston, Willie Fritz, I think who is a better team there, really? I don't know. I like Willie Fritz as a coach in games better. Delaware and Wyoming should be wins. BYU, TCU, Iowa State, Utah, like I think they probably lose all of those. Maybe beat Arizona and then West Virginia, and then they lose less. So it's like I have them at like 4-8. Like I'm not a huge believer in Coach Prime this year. I think long term, if he can get that recruiting up, build consistency. But I think the way that he builds the program through the portal like this can lead to success, as we saw last year. But it just doesn't lead to consistent success, as we've shown with every other coach that's tried to build through the portal. You're not consistent year to year, and it's not like they brought in like the most talented, like super studded transfer class this year. They were high in the transfer ranking because of the volume of their recruits. Not even really the quality this year. They have a lot of guys that did make the cut at bigger programs. So I'm not super high on Colorado this year. I think they're going to be providing a lot of other wins for programs on moving up. But long term, I do think Coach Prime can get it together. Again, I'm happy that he's cancer free, that he's beat cancer. That's great for him. But I do think not having him at spring practice, that doesn't really, bode well for, the team meshing and some of the coaching aspects of it. Through no fault of his own.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not super high on them this year. Long term, I think they can do it, but not this year.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher. I still think their talent keeps them in the upper half of the league, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
All right.
All right. Next up, we have got the Houston Cougars. Willie Fritz down in H-Town. I like what Willie Fritz is building there. Houston, I think, is a sneakily mediocre team. They were kind of a doormat last year, but I think they've improved the offense a lot. They brought in Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. Think what you will about Connor Wegman. He's not horrible. He's kind of just okay, which at Texas A&M gets you benched. But at Houston, they could beat a lot of teams with Connor Wegman at Houston. I don't think they have that easy of a schedule. They've got a pretty tough schedule. They draw, Texas Tech, Arizona State, TCU, Baylor, but they've got some beatable teams on there as well. Out of conference, they got at Oregon State. It's kind of a tough game, like traveling all the way to Oregon. But so I like what they're building there at Houston. I kind of have them around 6-6, 7-5. I think they beat CMF Austin, Rice, Colorado, Oklahoma State, Arizona, and then coin flips at West Virginia and Central Florida, UCF. So I have them around 6-6, 7-5.
Well, the problem last year, there was a lot of problems. Turnovers were a problem last year. Offense was a problem last year. So, they can try to address the turnover issue, but Connor Wegman is essentially going to be the answer. The offense, what the intel we hear is that he's dropped weight. He looks better than ever. This was a highly sought after 5-star quarterback. If he is serious, if he is ready to go, if he is given all the tools that he needs, this guy could be a stud. We'll see.
We've seen him play though.
We've seen him play some really good games, and we also have seen him look terrible too.
Right.
How much of that was Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M?
Okay, maybe there's a point to be made.
I just don't know. The defense wasn't terrible last year. The defense wasn't really a problem, especially towards the back end of the year. They played some offenses that had that could score, and they played them pretty well. So to me, I think you get a little bit of that second year Willie Fritz.
He's a good coach too.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a good coach. I think they're going to get a little bit better. I can see them competing for a bowl. They're not going to be competing for a conference championship this year. They're going to be one of those teams that you better not look past them on your schedule.
No.
If you're TCU, if you're Baylor, if you're Arizona State, you better not just be sleepwalking through that game.
They will try and bite you for sure.
Yeah. They could get up, and if things are working, if all things are working well, they could beat you. And I think that's the case with a lot of the teams in the Big 12. You just better pay attention every week.
Yeah. There is no weeks off in the Big 12. Most competitive conference in the country for sure. Yeah. Every game is chaos waiting to happen. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. All right. Next up, we have got what year is it again? Oh
man.
Is it 2007?
Take me home, country roads.
Is it the early 2000s with Rich Rod in West Virginia?
I bet you they wish it was.
Well, welcome back to Morgantown, Richard Rodriguez. West Virginia brings back they go with the retread hire, Rich Rod, but he's not quite so much as a retread as some of these other guys because he proved he can still win lots of ball games at Jacksonville State. The thing with West Virginia, this is even more true than Colorado or with Texas Tech. I have no idea what this team is going to be. Like, genuinely, I've looked over. I got nothing. They brought in a gazillion transfers. Like, how many? It's in the 40s, right? How many transfers they brought in?
I thought at one point there were 70 new players counting freshmen.
Okay. My bad.
I read that number somewhere.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They basically got an entirely new team. So I have no idea what they're going to be. They, it's Rich Rod, so we're assuming that they're going to, by the way, Rich Rod now actually has incorporated a lot more power running game into his offense. It's not just, that kind of spread stuff. There's a lot of spread, but it's just the new, kind of spread run game. So we're expecting probably a strong rushing attack and, RPOs, but I don't know what to make of this team. Backyard brawl week 3, obviously. That's just a blast of a game. Love that rivalry. Not the easiest schedule, but again, it's like the Big 12. So it's you draw a couple hard teams, draw a couple beatable teams. You don't know. I don't have them very high this year, specifically just because you're bringing in a million transfers and we don't know if they're going to be any good. I believe in Rich Rod long term, but this year I want them to be good. I want them for the vibes. I want Rich Rod West Virginia to be good at football, just for the vibes. I don't think they're going to be good at football this year. I have them at the bottom of the Big 12, right there with UCF and Oklahoma State.
It's hard.
3-9.
We just don't know what to expect here because you don't know. You have nothing to rely, any data to rely on. So I think it's just going to be interesting. Again, I trust Rich Rod. I think they will probably win a game this year they shouldn't win.
I think they win probably one Big 12 game, and then the two easy out of conferences.
Yeah.
And I have them at like 3-9.
But my guess is 2 years from now, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with if they get some resources. And
especially because isn't Pat McAfee heavily investing in their NIL program?
Yeah, I think so.
And really beefing up their recruiting.
I think so.
Yeah,
and they care about it. At West Virginia, they do care.
They do. They absolutely care. And if they could just get the resources, yeah. So, all right. Yeah, that's my West Virginia thoughts. By the way, if they start winning, I will be a big West Virginia fan as long as they're not playing Baylor. I will root for them.
And that's a tough place to play.
It is, dude, because you can't really fly. You got to fly, you got to drive. It's like it's a tough environment. It's up in the mountains, And
it's one of those things too. It's it's a long way away from most of those Big 12 schools. It's just, we've seen good Big 12 teams go in there and lose to mediocre West Virginia teams.
Yep. So. All right. Now we get to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Man, it's been 18 years since Mike Gundy didn't make a bowl game, but that streak ended last year. And they were really bad last year.
Yeah.
And I don't see how they improved in the offseason. They are starting that, fairly highly recruited quarterback. What's his name? Zane Flores, right?
Does he have the job? I don't know for certain.
I think we're pretty sure, right?
Okay.
We're pretty sure.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Zane Flores.
Okay.
He's pretty dynamic. So I guess he gives them some sort of upward potential, but the roster just does not seem very strong to me. And this kind of feels like they may begin the coaching search in October, and Mike Gundy may have a retirement party and step down and or move on towards the end of this year. Although he is their program, so it would not also surprise me if he wants to hang on one more year if they let him, just from the credence he's built up. So I don't know.
Yeah, they brought in Todd Grantham as their defense coordinator. Todd's been at Georgia and Florida, and
he's a good DC. So
he's a good DC. It may be too little, too late. The defense was dreadful last year. I mean,
so bad,
really, really bad. I don't know anymore. Obviously, when this program was in its heyday in the 2010s,
they almost made the title game.
Yeah, they had it was a different era. They had the funding from T. Boone Pickens, but they haven't looked the same in the 2020s. not recruiting at a level anymore that you need to be competitive,
Yep.
not getting the portal money, not getting the people through the portal. And now with Oklahoma and the SEC, it's just the vibes here aren't really good. There's other teams in the Big 12 that are spending money and have more momentum, especially with some of those new additions, the Arizona States, the Colorados, other
Yeah.
teams. This feels like a team that may get left behind in the Big 12 if it doesn't change.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate because they're a proud program.
They are,
But
yeah.
and they have the passion of and some of the best in the country. But
Yeah, it's really, all this realignment stuff has really taken some programs have been hit hard kind of indirectly just because of the way the conference ended up restructured between that and portal and NIL and programs that 15 years ago you said, oh, no way, they're always going to be at the top of their conference and or competitive.
yeah.
And Oklahoma State's one. I mean, Virginia Tech feels like it's been left behind and really not set up. There's others out there too.
But some of
And
this again can be fixed if you get the right administration in, if you get alignment, if you get
maybe,
fundraising,
but
like
maybe some of these just don't have maybe not.
right.
Given this how the structural shifts in the conferences have almost some of them have doubled in size. It's a lot harder to win these conferences, and you've brought in other. I mean, Arizona State now they're going to be a player.
Oh yeah.
They're not. You look at the Big 12. There's just other impediments now. Colorado is going to be a player with Dion in there.
Yeah.
There's just different. Utah, with if they want to, will be a player, just given where they're located, population. Oklahoma State's just not going to fall into that bucket anymore.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. I like Mike Gundy. I hope he's successful. But again, this is caveated with the fact that every time that we say that Mike Gundy is not going to win, we think he ends up surprising us. And we thought going into last year, he was going to be great, and he let us down. But maybe he just coaches ball and schemes up, and he's a great ball coach. And maybe there's a path to some upsets and some chaos here that keeps him around. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is the Big 12. Remember, caveat: Arizona State was all but guaranteed to be last place. We don't know. Arizona State last year, they had the high potential quarterback and the last place pick. I have Oklahoma State as last place in the Big 12 with an untested high potential quarterback. You never know what could happen, but I can't in good conscience pick them to be very high, but this is a Big 12. Chaos is abound.
Yeah, you are correct. So we'll see. So that's our wrap on the Big 12.
Yeah, that is it. Again, a little bit of a shorter episode based on some of these other conferences that were much bigger, but yeah, man, it's getting so close. You can almost taste it. It's almost here.
And then we've got one left to do. It just means more.
The SEC next up. I know you're gonna just whine.
And you and I are gonna, I think, disagree on a few of these teams.
I know we're gonna disagree. I got some wild SEC predictions that y'all are not ready for.
Yeah. I think I've got.
It is a new world in that conference, and
you want to talk about teams? There's a lot of teams that think that they're going to win that conference, and I got news for you.
There are 7 teams there that think they're winning the national championship, and
they all can't.
None of them are.
So we'll be back. What, tomorrow night? What time tomorrow night for our viewers?
I'm not sure. I think we can do 7:30 Central tomorrow night. If that's
7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. All right, for SEC Part 1.
Yes.
And then Thursday night we'll do SEC Part 2. So
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. You click all the buttons. Give us lots of engagement. The sweet engagement. And next time, tune in live if you didn't last time. And good night, America.